Welcome back to another episode of the Gun Collective News. I'm John Patton, and it's Election Day. If you're seeing this and you haven't gone out to vote yet, please go do that. There is still time. If you have voted, go down in the comments and let me know who you think is going to win the presidential election. If you're watching this after and we already know, then whoopity-doo, leave it in the comments. I don't know. Now, the news. We're going to start this week off with a look at some data. The original article covering this was put together by Dean Weingarten over at AmmoLand. You can see the article over there. I won't link to it because I will probably get in trouble from YouTube. Long story shorter, he charted the difference between the U.S. homicide rate over time and firearms per capita over time to see if there was a correlation between the two. You know, they say more guns equals more crime. Well, it turns out, as you may suspect, that there is no direct correlation. Even as the amount of privately held firearms in the U.S. continues to grow rapidly, we still aren't seeing a direct link. What's interesting is the roller coaster of homicide in the 70s and 80s, followed by that massive drop in the 90s and 2000s, followed by a bit of an uphill section as the country starts to descend into the fall of the empire. Moving on from there, more good news. It was reported that almost 16,000 students are participating in the USA Clay Target League this fall. This includes 873 high school, college, and homeschool teams nationwide. It's fantastic to see more and more young folks seeing the fun in clay shooting sports and shooting sports in general. That's great. They're saying that over 50,000 students participated this year alone, spring, summer, etc. And I actually had Olympic gold medalist skeet shooter Vince Hancock on my podcast not long ago to talk about his journey in shooting clays when he was younger, so you should probably check that out. There's a link in the description. Also subscribe to the TGC podcast because it's rad. In gun industry news, Luth AR, a company best known for making adjustable precision style AR stocks, has purchased Minnesota barrel maker Acro Machine. I've never heard of them, but okay. The press release states that Acro has been making barrels for 23 years for Randy Luth when he founded DPMS. I didn't know that. And then later, this company, Luth AR. I'm skeptical that this will do anything for the gun industry as a whole, but it's good to know what's going on, I guess. For the record, DPMS was purchased from Luth and then run into the ground by Remington/Freedom Group, and it's currently owned by JJE Holdings, the parent company of Palmetto State Armory. It seems like they own so many freaking companies these days, I can't keep up. They own a lot, except this week's sponsor, Vertex. Vertex is constantly releasing new EDC bags, apparel, and organization tools for people just like us, like me and you. I use their VTAC bags in my van to organize. I use their range bags every single time I go. And I use their EDC bags anytime I leave the house. I'm not BSing you. It's all the time. If you use the code TGC at checkout, you'll get at least 15% off. A lot of times they bump that up for holidays, and there are holidays coming. And I know it'll probably get you a bunch more. I think right now until midnight tonight on Election Day, it's actually 25% off with that code. So go get it. Use the code TGC at vertex.com. Big thanks to them for sponsoring this week's video. How about some new guns? Huh? That's probably why you guys are here, right? Ruger's in the news this week with a new version of the 10/22 carbine. I was making fun of Savage for having 39 versions of the M110 this week, and I'm sure, Ruger's probably topped that. There are 19 different versions of the carbine category of the 10/22, and there are 9 total categories. This new version comes in 2 flavors. Essentially, it's a standard 10/22 action with an 18.5-inch barrel slapped into a Magpul MOE X22 stock, and then it also has a threaded barrel. Otherwise, 10/22, same as always. You can get it in either the black or stainless finish on the barreled action, and the MSRP is $395 for the black version and $439 for the stainless. Ruger also has a new version of their SR 1911. It's yet another anniversary edition. Let's just keep cranking those out, right? This time it's the mid-size, aka commander size. We previously laughed at the overpriced full-size anniversary gun, the SR 1911 that was full-size. Let's look at this one. It's chambered in 45 ACP, has a 4 1/4 inch barrel, and it's a sort of a two-tone finish, black anodized aluminum frame, G10 black cherry colored grips, and a bunch of laser engraving on the slide. With the top of the slide, it has the anniversary logo, and then it says 75 Station Street, which is where Ruger started. That's like the neatest thing here. They say these will be limited to 500 units, with the MSRP at an even higher than the full size, $18.99. Ruger is charging anniversary gun prices for a yawn fest of a gun, just like all their other anniversary guns. Like, I just don't get it. Like, why would you buy that? Maybe it's like, okay, it's limited, but it's still boring as f. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Am I being too harsh? Let me know in the comments. Speaking of 1022s, turns out everyone's favorite low-quality gun maker, Bear Creek Arsenal, just released a couple new ones. First is the BC201, which is just a regular 22 long rifle 1022 clone with a Hogue overmolded stock and a heavy barrel that can be threaded or non. You can get it either way. MSRP on both the black and snot colored stock is $345, which is really cheap. There's also the 202, the BC 202, which is the 22 Magnum version and can be had with the very similar choice of snot or black stock. Otherwise, it's the same. MSRP on the Magnum is $495. That's pretty darn affordable, just like, I guess, everything they make. However, some of the stuff they make is absolute junk. I've had mixed results across several guns, and that's not a good thing. Speaking of lowered expectations, EAA released a new version of the Gearson Witness 2311, aka their double stack 1911-2011 thing. This one is called the Brat, and it's just a whittle guy. It's got a 3.4 inch barrel instead of like a 5, and it has a full-size grip that takes 17 round mags. It can be chambered in 9mm or 45, and the 45 has 11 round mags. It's not cut for an optic, even though the larger size of this can be had that way. Why would just cut it for an optic? I don't get it. I find this gun weird because it's got a pretty large grip, and then having a short barrel doesn't really gain you anything for concealment because the grip is the issue. It's also questionable on whether it will work well. I had a 10mm version of this gun and was not impressed. It was just not great. And in the past, shorter 1911s have had mixed results with reliability. So will they be able to pull this off with an MSRP of $679? That might be worth the risk to some of you. I would love to hear your thoughts on this one. Speaking of 1911s, how about a new gun from SK Guns? I know a lot of you guys really enjoy seeing these, so let's do it. For those that don't know, SK Guns, their shtick is taking basic guns and churching them up into limited special editions. This one is called the Santa Muerte, aka Our Lady of Holy Death, in the Mexican tradition of the Day of the Dead, which is better known as Dia de los Muertos. This gun starts life as a cult government in 1911, and they add the Kiranite blood-colored grips. Yeah, that's neat. They high polish the bluing, give the slide some gold inlays themed after this sort of Lady Death, and it just looks fantastic. Most of their guns do, and it should, because the MSRP is $27.50. There will only be 500 made, and you know what else there won't be a lot of? The rest of this show.